Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can tell by the title of this video, this isn't going to be a very happy video. I don't even know how you're supposed to start a video like this. The only reason why I'm making this video is because I obviously made it public that I was pregnant, and so obviously people are going to ask questions, and instead of just answering one-on-one, I just kind of wanted to make a video explaining what's going on. I put makeup on so that I would not cry during this video, so we'll see how well that lasts. But these last few days have been the absolute hardest days of my life. Don't even know where to start. I don't want to cry anymore. This is going to be really hard for me to talk about because it just happened, but I'm just going to do it anyways because it's, you know, it's good to work through these things. Alright, so on Friday, which is 3 days ago now, I woke up, felt fine, you know, another day of being pregnant, and I had to pee, so I went to the bathroom, and when I went to the bathroom, I noticed a little bit of blood. And I mean, it did worry me because I don't know. I know that all my apps tell me that, you know, it's normal to spot during your early pregnancy. It's called implantation bleeding, and so, but I always knew that I'd be freaked out if I ever saw blood, so I'd always look. And I woke up that morning and saw a little bit of blood, and it wasn't anything too much, so I wasn't like super concerned, but I was a little worried. Right after that happened, all of a sudden, and by the way, I have not had morning sickness up until this point, and also to preface, I was 6 weeks pregnant at the time, and I had not had morning sickness before, but as soon as I wiped the blood, I got up, and my husband called me, which my husband also was not with me at the time that this was happening because he was working. He's a pilot, so he can't just like come home. He was in another state. So that was really hard. He called me, he FaceTimed me while all this was happening, and I all of a sudden got super nauseous when he was on the phone with me. So I ran to the bathroom and I dry heaved a few times. Nothing came up. Sorry if this is TMI. This whole video might be TMI, so trigger warning. If you don't handle things, like gruesome facts well, like don't watch this. I'm gonna be talking about blood and stuff. But yeah, so he wasn't here, but he was on FaceTime when I was over the toilet and thought my life was ending. I personally do not handle nausea well at all, so I was very nervous to begin with for pregnancy. I prayed a lot that I would not get nausea because I just don't handle that stuff well. It gives me major anxiety and I feel like I'm dying. But I got nauseous and I was like, oh, that's a good sign. Like, my morning sickness is coming. Even though it sucked, I was like, that's a good sign. And so I sat over the toilet for maybe an hour and it was pretty miserable. Finally got the urge. I literally went from the bathroom floor and I crawled into my prayer closet, and I just cried because I was in so much pain. Like, my stomach was hurting really bad, and so I just prayed, and I started to get a little bit scared, and then I laid down and I started to snack because I heard that snacking, you know, helps nausea, and it did, and it started to help. And I was getting really tired, so I tried to take a nap, but it didn't work. And then I had to pee again. And so I got up to go pee. This is gonna be the hard part to talk about. I cannot cry, don't cry. I had to go pee. And this time, when I wiped, there was a lot more blood. And once again, TMI, trigger warning. There was a lot more blood, and I also saw clotting in the blood, and it was a lot. I took pictures of it, and I immediately had a horrible feeling. Just seeing that was enough to traumatize me for life. Like, knowing that what I saw was probably the remains of my baby, that just like sticks with somebody. So yeah, lots of blood, lots of clotting. I immediately was hysterical, crying, and I couldn't call my husband because he was in the air flying. So I called my mom, and I called my mother-in-law, and I talked to them, and they, my mom urged me to go to the ER, and she was like, you need to go, you need to get checked out right now. Obviously no one's here, and so I don't have anyone to take me, and they said I should, you know, they're like, Uber, just Uber there, but I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be crying in front of somebody, so I mustered up enough strength to drive myself to the ER. At this point, the nausea had went away, and I was thankful for that because I needed to drive. I was really lightheaded, so it was kind of dangerous, but I like was just in such a daze, and I was just so worried about the baby that I knew I had to do it. I got in the car and started to drive, and I was just crying the whole time and praying the whole time, and I was just like, God, like, please let everything be okay. It was really scary, and I got to the ER, and I couldn't even compose myself. First of all, I'm a very nervous doctor goer as it is. I don't like going to the doctor. I was also alone at this point. I had nobody that could come with me. I'm in California. None of my family or friends are here. I don't know anybody here, so nobody could come with me. I was literally all alone, and that was really hard. Really hard. It like definitely showed me how strong I can be when I need to be. I pulled myself together, and I got up to the little front desk where you tell the lady what's going on, and I just broke down to her. I was like, look, like, I'm 6 weeks pregnant and I'm bleeding and I couldn't get anything else out. And she was nice, thankfully, and hurried up, and they weren't really busy, which was good. So she hurried up and had me go talk to an RN, and as I'm sitting down with her, she was super nice and talking with me and trying to calm me down and asking questions. And she just had me pee in a cup and told me to go sit in the waiting room and wait for me to be called back. She said that they were probably going to order some ultrasounds, and so I sat in the waiting room for a little while. It wasn't too long until they called me back, and they wanted to draw my blood. I also, like, everything was just such a daze that, like, I wish I would have asked more questions or like said more, but I don't know, I just couldn't think. Like, I was so in my head, just like so worried about everything. So they just, all I know is that they took like 6 vials of my blood, and thankfully I'm not skittish around needles, so I didn't care. But they took my blood, went back, sat in the waiting room for a while, and then I got called back again by a different doctor, and they were gonna go have me do the ultrasound. So they did an outward ultrasound, I forget the name for it, and then an inward one. Because obviously, since I was so early, they probably wouldn't be able to see anything going outside, so they had to go inside. This was really traumatic for me because, one, I was all alone, scared to death, and the first time you're supposed to get an ultrasound isn't supposed to be like that. You're not supposed to be scared that you're not gonna see a baby in there. So she's doing the ultrasound, and I just was like, this is not how it's supposed to be. This is supposed to be a happy moment. This is my first ultrasound. It's supposed to be happy. I'm supposed to hear a heartbeat. I'm supposed to see something. And so I just sat there, and she did the outward one for a little while, and it kind of hurt. It felt like a lot of pressure when she was pushing down on my stomach, and then she had to go inside and do one, and my legs were shaking really bad because I was really scared, and she noticed, and she tried to calm me down. She was really nice too, tried to calm me down, and told me it's okay, just to relax. And so I tried, and it was really hard because it took a while, and she was just going in there and taking pictures, and the whole time I'm just like, I just want to know, I want to know what you see, like is there a baby there, like I just wanted to know, but they can't say anything, so there was just silence. And as soon as I got off of the table, I saw blood under me, so I was worried again. And then I went and sat in the waiting room for a very long time, and finally when they called me back, it was to draw more blood. So I drew another vial of blood, and then I went back in the waiting room again, and I can't even tell you how nervous I was. Like, I was so anxious, and I was just sitting in the waiting room crying, trying not to make it super noticeable, but I was crying and I was so worried, and I was just praying constantly the whole time I was there. I was like, God, just please be with me. Like I did feel a peace. Because I know that in my own strength I wouldn't have been able to do that by myself, but I know that God was with me during all of it. Even though it was really scary, I know he was there. I felt that peace that you feel when Jesus is near. But I was really scared, and I just had so many thoughts going through my mind, and I was scared to tell Adam because he was so excited to be a dad. You know, just all the thoughts. I was getting really scared, just thoughts. And then I also was scared that, like, what if something's wrong with me? Like, so I started fearing that, and fearing that the baby was gone, and just all these things. And finally Adam was able to land, and he came. Thankfully he flew back to California, and he was able to leave and come see me because it was the end of his trip. So he drove straight from work to the hospital. At this point I had been there for around 4 hours by myself, and he came, and you know, he was really supportive and really worried, and we waited a little while together, and then they called me back and he couldn't come with me. So I went back, and I just remember that walk, like walking through the hallway. I was like, God, like, you're gonna have to prepare me, because I was, you know, I knew that I had to prepare. I just felt like I had to prepare for something bad. When I got in there, the doctor, of course, was like, just hold on a minute, and was on his computer for like 5 minutes just typing away. And I'm like, come on, like, I need something. I need to hear something. So finally he just tries to talk to me about what's going on, and I'm just like staring him in the eyes and waiting for him to say the worst news. And what he told me was honestly really conflicting, and I don't feel like I got a lot of clarity. I don't know if that's their fault necessarily, but they told me, like, you know, your blood is fine, and they said when I got the ultrasounds, they didn't see a heartbeat, and they didn't detect a heartbeat or see the sac of the baby, but they did confirm that I was pregnant because my HCG level was at 200 something. And they said that they basically, all they could tell me is your HCG level is really low, and that could either be because you're miscarrying, or it could just be because you're really early. And so I was like, well, what do I do with that? Basically, there was another lady doctor in the room, and she talked to me and said, you know, sometimes it's normal to bleed, sometimes it's not. Since we don't have access to, since we don't have your prior blood levels or know what your levels were before you came here, we can't really tell you. So basically they told me to wait like 4 to 6 days, and if I continue heavily bleeding, then I need to come back. I'm like, what do I do with that? So that was kind of like really confusing. I walked out of there a little hopeful, but also very confused. And I walked out to Adam, and obviously he's anticipating like what's going on, and so I explained to him, and I think we both had a little bit of hope for a little while. As soon as we got in the car, I was feeling a little better. I think first of all, just knowing that I was okay, but also that like there was a chance that the baby was okay. So I got in the car, and like I said, I just had that little bit of hope. But as we Sorry for my dog. She's gonna be chewing on my pants in the background. As we were driving, I just started to get a feeling come over me that was just like, I'm not pregnant anymore. And reality was kind of setting in. I'm like, let's make sense of this here. If I'm 6 weeks pregnant and they didn't detect a heartbeat or a sac even going inside of me, that's probably what I saw in the toilet. That's probably what came out of me. But yet it showed that I was pregnant. I don't know. I just like had a feeling come over me that was like, I'm not pregnant. I didn't feel pregnant anymore. And I got home, and it was really traumatizing also to come home because the whole blood scene, the whole crime scene was still there because I didn't take the time to do anything about it. I just saw it and then rushed out the door. So Adam and I came home to that, and that just hurt all over again. Seeing that there, knowing that's probably my baby in there. So we took it easy and just kind of hung out. He just tried to make me feel better, and I want to thank him because he's been really supportive with me during all of this, and he's been trying to be really strong for me and taking care of me. And so we just laid down, and like he started to be a little hopeful, and which I don't think it's bad to be hopeful. I don't at all. But we immediately came home and we both went into the prayer closet, and he just prayed over me and prayed over the baby, and he prayed that, you know, obviously we hope that the baby is going to be okay, but if not, we just prayed that he would help us get through it, and just to give us peace through it all, because it obviously is going to be hard. And yeah, I just cried a lot more, and just throughout the night and the next morning I was crying a lot, and I just had this feeling like I knew that there was no more baby inside of me. All of my pregnancy symptoms went away. I didn't feel that like heaviness that I once felt in my stomach. It just feels empty now, which is so sad to say, and it's such a weird feeling to be pregnant in the morning and then in the next couple hours to not to be. But yeah, I just know that I'm not pregnant anymore. This is currently day 3. I'm still bleeding and clotting. I'm not bleeding like a ton, but I am clotting, and I just know that I miscarried, and it's been really rough. I'm trying to hold it together as best as I can, but obviously Adam has had to go back to work, but it's been really hard. Probably the hardest thing that I've ever had to go through. It just feels like a different kind of heartbreak that I can't really explain. And I'm like really dehydrated because I feel like I've just cried everything out of me, and it's hard to eat and drink. I don't have an appetite, so I have to force myself to eat. But yeah, so this is kind of where we're at right now. I just wanted to preface that throughout all of this, I have been trusting God as much as I can, and I know that bad things happen, and we don't always have answers as to why, and we don't always know. We don't understand, and there's a lot of things we're not ever going to understand until God comes back, and that's hard, you know. But God actually promised that we would go through hard times, but the important part is to stay strong in my faith, and that's what I've been doing. As easy as it is for my flesh to want to be mad at God and be like, God, why did you let this happen? I don't understand. Like, what did I do? As much as my flesh is wanting to do that and go that route and be so mad at God, I'm not, and I can't be, because things happen. And this life is not our permanent home. Heaven is, and things are gonna happen, and we have to get through them by the strength of Jesus. And so I'm not letting this dampen my faith. For anyone who's going through the same thing, I just want you to know that there's still hope and there's purpose through the pain. We don't always know why. A lot of things don't make sense. This doesn't make sense to me. But I know that there's a purpose for this. I definitely have a heart for women now that have gone through this. And I don't know where it's going to lead. I know that when the time is right, God will provide a family. And I don't doubt that. Obviously, we're going to take a little bit of a break while I'm healing. We're both healing through this. And we're not going to try for a little bit. But I know that when the time comes, you know, he'll make it happen again when it's supposed to. And just know that if you're going through this, you're not alone. You're really not. There's a lot. I've watched a lot of stories of people going through this, and it's heartbreaking. The silver lining of it is at least it happened so early to where I didn't have to be in as much pain as I know some other people have to go through. And I didn't even find out the gender. I didn't see the heartbeat yet. I didn't do any of that. I just knew that I was pregnant. So at least a little bit of silver lining there, but I know that's not the case for everybody. And so my heart goes out to anyone that's had to deal with this. And I did make it public really early that I was pregnant, and a lot of people are probably going to be like, this is why you don't tell people so early, but I honestly don't regret telling people. This is my story, it's my life, and I like being open. I like that people can relate to me in certain things, and like, you never know who's watching, and you never know what can speak to people. And so I wanted to share this journey because I was very excited to find out I was pregnant. And I did trust and I do trust Jesus still, no matter what. And just because pregnancy has ended doesn't mean my journey has ended. But yeah, I know that my journey is not over, and I'm just gonna use this as an opportunity to draw closer to God. I'm not going to be mad at him. As much as I've gone into that prayer closet and bawled my eyes out, just not understanding, he's given me a peace about it all. And I know that it's going to be hard, and it will be, but each day I'll get stronger, and I know that I will. Like I said, my hope is not lost. Bad things happen sometimes, and you just have to get through them and cling to Jesus through them. And I just want to take this time as I'm ending the video to just thank all my friends and family who have been made aware of this, and for all the support and love they've given. It's been really nice. At this moment, I don't necessarily feel like talking to people, which I know probably isn't healthy. I'm having a hard time even communicating with my own husband. Sometimes when things happen like this, I kind of just shut down. And it's because I know that when I do talk about it, all the feelings come back up with it and all the trauma comes back up, and I don't want to do that. So I don't talk a lot, but I'm trying to be better about that. And I already have cried and pleaded and told God my whole heart of everything. So yeah, this is where we're at right now. It's very obviously devastating, and I'm very sad. And I'm sad for all of my friends and family who are excited too. I know it's not just hard for me, I know it's hard for other people too. But yeah, just wanted to make this video. I don't know when I will post again. I'm obviously not posting this video even right away as I'm making it. It'll probably be a little while. I'm just kind of taking a break from social media right now. Another hard part is the day that it happened. As soon as I got nauseous, I posted on Instagram and I was like, oh, I finally got morning sickness, tips. And when I came back from the ER, I had so many responses for talking about my pregnancy, and that was really hard to see. So I'm staying off of social media right now. Just to clear my head and heal, and then when I feel like the time is right, I'll go back on and I'll be posting this. And yeah, just pray for me and for my health and for my mental health. Like I said, it's very, very hard, but I trust Jesus no matter what. So just if you could keep me in your prayers, it would mean a lot. And yeah, this is what's been going on, and I just want you to know that if you've been through this or you're going through this, I'm sorry. I know it stinks a lot, and it can be really hard and lonely, and traumatizing, and I feel like this is something I'm gonna, you know, have with me the rest of my life, thinking about this kid that could have been that never was. It's hard. But yeah, just thank you for watching, and that's my heart.